Friends, welcome to Super Sunita's Happy World channel. Today I'm going to narrate one of the best known stories of Mrs. Sudha Murthy. The title of the story is Bad Help. I was visiting the village I grew up in and was awaiting some papers from my office. Since the village was small, there was no courier service and the mail from my office had been sent by registered post. I went to the local post office and noticed that it was a small building with a skeletal staff. The building had not been renovated or painted in years. The fans were also not working because there was no electricity. The post office was hot and dusty. It was old and had very few customers because it had lost its importance due to the increased usage of email and internet. While waiting for my papers, I remembered my childhood. In our village, the postman was loved and highly respected. All of us at home waited for him. He was our main link to the outside world. He brought us greeting cards, parcels, money orders, and letters. He distributed mail to the entire village. Our house was always his last stop of the day. He gave us our letters and then had lunch with us. During lunch, he told us lots of stories and gave us news from the village. The postman was like our personal news channel and we loved his visits. He also gave us financial advice and told us to buy government bonds and open a post office savings account. Today, I do not even go to the post office. I wondered, when I was younger, how did I correspond without email? I was brought back to reality when the postmaster said, "It will take some time for us to get your papers. Why don't you go home? I will send the papers to you through my postman in the afternoon or evening." I replied, "Thank you," and I went home. After lunch, a postman and a young boy came knocking at the door. The young boy was tall, handsome, and reserved, but his eyes were bright and shining. I invited them to sit down and offered them lunch. They refused politely. The postman said, "Ma'am, we have had lunch. Here are your papers. You need to sign for this." But I signed the document and, without looking up, I asked him, "What is it?" He said, "Meet my son, Satish. He is very intelligent. He has just finished his 12th class with excellent marks. He has got admission in a prestigious engineering college called BITS Pilani." And he stopped. I looked at the boy. He looked uncomfortable with the conversation. His father continued, "Madam, I cannot afford his expenses at Pilani. I had never gone out of Karnataka. In fact, I have never gone out of Dharwad district. He is my only child. I want him to be educated. You are from our village and you have seen the outside world. Is there any way you can help my boy study at Bitspilani? With my salary, I can send him to the local engineering college. But Satish is very keen to go outside." As a trustee of the foundation, I immediately understood his situation. We come across many intelligent children who have high ambitions but an economically poor background. Most times, we help these children partially and sometimes we completely cover their educational expenses. This was one such case. In a big city like Bangalore, there are many job opportunities. But in a small village, a postman only depends on his salary. I liked the boy and asked him for his marks card and admission letters. He was well prepared before he came to see me and showed me all the documents. While browsing through the documents, I noticed that he had an interesting last name. When I asked him about it, Satish said, "I have taken my last name from the name of my village." I told Satish, "Well, I have everything I need right now. I promise that we will pay your first year's college fees, and every year you have to send me your marks card. If you're on the merit list, we will continue paying your tuition until you complete your first degree. Satish and his father left the house with smiles on their faces. Every year, Satish's marks card came for a review and we sent money automatically. After 4 years, the marks card did not come, and I knew that he must have completed his degree. Many years passed, and I forgot about Satish because he was one of the thousand recipients who had received help from the Infosys Foundation. We keep records of the recipients and the help we give them, but we do not keep records of where they are, nor do they usually inform us. I have a good friend, Vinita, who is from Maharashtra but lives in Bangalore. Her daughter was a software engineer working in a good company. Typical of an anxious parent, Vinita was searching for a suitable match for her daughter. She registered on bharatmatrimony.com, shadi.com, and many other sites. She also requested me to tell if I knew someone suitable. One day I was visiting her neighborhood and decided to drop in without calling ahead. It was 4 p.m. on a Sunday and I knew she would be at home. But when I entered, I realized that she had guests in her house. Vinita's daughter was dressed beautifully and she was talking to a young boy. His parents were sitting on a sofa. I understood that a young, suitable groom had come to visit their house and talk to the girl. I told Vinita, I'm sorry, I should have called. I will come some other time. But Vinita did not let me go. She said, it doesn't matter. You're just like family. Come, sit down and join us. So I did. I looked at the boys' parents. They were fat and took up most of the large sofa. The father was in an expensive safari suit and wore a thick gold chain around his neck and sported a large gold ring. The mother had draped a very pricey Kanjivaram sari around herself, and almost a quarter kilo of gold adorned her body. She wore a big bindi and plenty of flowers in her hair. She wore diamond jhumkis, earrings which were not suitable for her age. The boy was tall and handsome. Despite the hot summer weather, he wore a costly suit and a diamond ring. From where I was sitting, I noticed that a luxurious car was waiting outside for them. I realized that they must be extremely rich. Compared to the boy and his family, Vinita's daughter herself was very simply dressed. Vinita introduced me. Sudha is my old friend from college. I folded my hands in a namaskara, and even though they reciprocated, I noticed immediately that they were uncomfortable. Before she could introduce them to me, I got a business call and went outside to take it. It turned out to be a long call. By the time I returned, Vinita's guests were about to leave. The boy looked a bit pale. I smiled and said, I wish you all the best. They left in a hurry. Vinita and her daughter were very happy. She said, these people are very nice and come from a good family. The boy is a senior manager in a good company and owns an apartment in Jayanagar. His only sister is a software engineer. She is married and lives in America. The boy and his parents came last week to our house and liked our daughter. The boy wanted to come one more time. If all goes well, there may be an engagement as soon as next week. After that, the boy is going to America for a project. When he comes back, we will have the wedding. They want a big engagement and wedding. We don't have a problem with that. Vinita's husband entered the room. He said, let's not talk about marriage and other details until they officially say yes. If they do so, next Thursday is a good day for the engagement. They all felt relaxed and nice about this matrimonial alliance. I said, "Sorry, I got a call when you were about to introduce them to me. Tell me about this boy and his family." Vinita replied, "We came in contact with them from the matrimonial sites on the internet. The boy's name is Satish. He has also studied in the US, worked there for a few years, and then he came back to India. His parents have been staying in Bangalore for the last 5 years. We did a background check on his education and job record, and everything seems fine. He did his engineering from BITS Pilani. He was so intelligent that the institute even gave him a scholarship." BITS Pilani clicked in my mind because Satish was the only one who went to BITS Pilani from the list of people that we had helped through the foundation. Most of the students that we funded were from Karnataka and went to local colleges. I asked Vinita, "What is Satish's last name?" When Vinita told me his last name, it confirmed my suspicion. But I did not want to say anything to her until I had verified our records. "When did he complete his education at BITS?" I asked. Vinita gave me the year and said, "Right now he's 30 years old. He finished his degree when he was 22. What did you think of the boy?" I told her, "I don't know. I have only met him once, but he looks good." Vinita insisted, "You must come for the engagement." I replied, "Of course. Please kindly confirm the date at the earliest." And I left. The next day I went to my office and checked our records. It was indeed the same Satish. I was very happy that he had done well for himself. Now I understood why his parents wore so much gold and showed off their wealth. It was because they came from a deprived background and had recently acquired wealth. So they went overboard buying things that they could never afford before. I picked up the phone to call Vinita and tell her I knew the family and that the boy was very intelligent. But something stopped me. I thought, why didn't they recognize me? Why didn't they even acknowledge me? At the foundation, we do not expect gratitude from everybody, but it is normal to at least expect some courtesy. As I worked backgrounds, I realized what might have happened. Satish and his family may not have told Vinita's family about their background. They had probably also hidden the fact that Satish's father was once a postman. They wanted to show Vinita and her family that they had always been rich. I'm not sure whether I should tell Vinita. There is nothing wrong in being poor, and if people want to hide their background, it is left to their value system. I should not be judgmental about that. While my mind was oscillating between whether I should make the phone call or not, the phone rang. It was Vinita. She sounded sad. She said, "Sorry, there is no engagement. The boy does not want to marry our daughter." "Why? What happened?" I asked. "I have no idea. They were so enthusiastic about the wedding until the visit on Sunday. I don't know why they changed their mind." I kept quiet. I wanted to be completely sure before I told Vinita anything. "What is their background? What does the father do?" I asked. "The father is a landlord. They own properties in a village in Karnataka and they come from generations of family wealth. You're from the same area. Have you ever heard of them?" "Yes, Vinita, I know them." I didn't want to say anything until I was absolutely sure. Satish's father was a postman from North Karnataka and the boy is very bright. We helped with Satish's education through the foundation, but he has accomplished everything on his own. They must have thought that I recognized them and would tell you the truth. So they backed out of the engagement. This is my reading of the situation. I finished the call and kept sitting, busy with my thoughts. I had never thought that getting an economic need based scholarship would bring shame to Satish and his family. That was the reason he had refused to recognize me. For the first time in my life, I understood that if a person is not comfortable with the help given to him, it becomes a lifelong burden for him to carry. Friends, this is the story for today. I hope you liked it very much. For more interesting videos, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and encouraging me. Thank you so much.